Oh, you gave up the first pick tomorrow as well. All right, first pick goes to me, and let's begin with the Seattle Seahawks. This is something we have talked about repeatedly. This is something that we are alarmed about because they had an opportunity to get Everson Griffin, and they chose not to. The Seahawks pass rush. How is this team going to survive if they can't put heat on the opposing quarterback? Because you eventually are going to come across a team in the postseason that may do to you what the Cardinals did the other night. Maybe it'll be the Cardinals that cross paths with the Seahawks at some point in the postseason and do that same thing. So without question, I mean, this is a given. The Seahawks pass rush is a weakness, a glaring hole that could bring down the whole season for the team eventually.
100%. No doubt about it. They're really, we could pick another position for the Seahawks and probably pick their secondary as well, their corners. I mean, I could easily make that my pick, but I'm not going to. But, yeah, it's concerning. It really is. No pass rush. Have nobody really that can play man-to-man other than Quentin Dunbar. He's the only guy that's really got any real fighting chance there. They got issues. I mean, man, it's going to be all about Russ, and it ain't going to change, so we'll see where that goes. I think the next one I'm going to go to the Titans, and the same thing. I'm going to their pass rush. I mean, they got 7 sacks. You know, their defense is obviously an issue, but I'm going to go with their pass rush as being the biggest issue because that compromises them a lot. They're stuck in wait, do we want to blitz or do we want to drop back and play coverage and do those type of things? But, you know, Jadeveon Clowney being there has done nothing for their pass rush, really. Harold Landry's the only guy that pops up off the edge every now and then, and that's nothing special. Really, Jeffrey Simmons, their defensive tackle, is their best pass rusher. He's their best player on defense in general altogether. He is a stud, but that is really worrisome, you know, especially – in the AFC when they're holding themselves to the high regard of we think we're a Super Bowl team and you know you're going to have to play the Chiefs and you don't have a team that can rush the passer or anybody that could ever, you know, run down a Mahomes or anything like that, that would be concerning.
See, I had the Titans on my list, but special teams is my concern. The Gostkowski field goal misses in all these close games.
Yeah.
That goofy Brett Kern low snap took off and started to run and then threw a pass when he should have known all the offense was downfield illegally. He had time to do a rugby kick. He could have gotten the ball out of there. So they've got special teams issues that could hurt them, especially in close games. Next one for me, the Packers' lack of weapons, period. Look, and they were fortunate last week, the point you've made. Houston never reacted to the possibility. Maybe we should double-team Devontae Adams, but they don't have the pass catchers that make it easier for Aaron Rodgers to do what he needs to do, and period. That's what they need. That's what they don't have. And that's eventually, you know, the one-man band concept is eventually going to potentially bring them down.
Right.
Because they're going to come up against a team where Aaron just can't do it all by himself.
That's exactly it. You know, you're exactly right. I mean, they're another team, just like the Seahawks, where I got the Packers written down and I got defensive tackles or run defense. That's the thing that I scared. So they got 2 flaws. You know, it brings me back to earlier in the show when you were talking about, Michael McCarthy brought lesser teams in to beat the Cowboys, and I'm going to go, well, I was going to interrupt you and go, they did, but they had this guy number 12 at quarterback, okay, who kind of was like the equalizer there. But, I mean, I'm with you. The weapons, whatever, the Packers were certainly one of the teams on my list, and it's why I don't really hold them in a legit Super Bowl regard. Do you, Mike? I mean, I look at them and go, damn, they're dangerous. It'd have to fall the right way in the playoffs. Because they're not going to beat the Bucs. They're not going to beat the Saints. I don't think they could beat the 49ers if they get in the playoffs. That's, to me, I don't think they could beat the Rams either. They'd have to be lucky to how it falls and shakes out for them as far as matchups are concerned. All right.
After they beat the Texans, Aaron Rodgers said that the loss to the Bucs last week, Week 6, was an anomaly.
Yeah.
The problem is they have those when they go on the road against great teams.
Exactly right.
They can't beat those teams, and they get blown out by those teams. All right, go ahead.
No, but you're right. I mean, it's teams with good defensive lines. I mean, or just good offensive lines too. They steamroll them. Whether it was the 49ers both last year, you know, the Chargers D line in that game last year out there in LA, that was an issue. So that's a real point. All right, I think I got to go with the Bears. You know, the Bears. It's something offensive related. I mean, it kind of all stinks, all right? But I'll go with their offensive line as being the biggest issue. I mean, I could pick Matt Nagy, certainly, because the scheme itself is boring as crap as well. But the really big issues are their offensive line. They're not great in pass pro. They don't move anybody in the run game. like I said, Nagy doesn't give them any schematical advantages there either. But I think between that and the running back combination, yeah, it's just that Bears O-line, it's very underwhelming. It really puts them behind the 8 ball when they have to play good teams.
Yeah, and look, I don't even consider the Bears
I know.
Well, contender that even gets into the conversation, record notwithstanding.
Well, I was going to say, like, where do I draw the line here as far as the draft is concerned? I mean, they are, 5-2, but I'm with you. I'm the same thing. I mean, that's why I wasn't sure, like, to add them in this or not. I didn't know where to go there.
Well, I'm going to go with the team that's 4-2, the Saints. Lack of a downfield passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that all year long. And at some point, that is going to hurt them. At some point, they're going to go up against a defense. It's going to take away everything underneath, with or without Michael Thomas. And it's, you can't just flip it out to Taysom Hill and say throw it 50 yards. That doesn't seem to be working this year. They need that downfield threat to keep the defense honest. And we know they don't have it. And that's the thing that could keep them from getting back to a Super Bowl. They've been trying. I got to give them credit. Every year they keep coming back. They have the heartbreaking loss in the postseason. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. But I think that is going to keep them from getting to where they want to be.
Yeah, I hear you there. It's scary too. You're right. It's a little bit like, it's going to be the right matchup, or you get scared if this team comes into town and takes away those short passes and things like that. Can they beat you? And we've seen that. What is that? 3 years in a row, really? That kind of team is the team that beats them in the playoffs, and that is definitely concerning, no doubt about it. I don't know where to go here. I really don't. Because I don't want to pick some of the teams that are like the Browns or the Cardinals quite yet. I mean, I want to stay towards the top-tier football teams. I do, and I think we got a lot of those out of the way. I'm one with the Rams and the Ravens. I'm going to go with the Ravens, all right? I'm going to go with the Ravens, and the passing game, Lamar Jackson, I'm just going to say it. It's got to be really good here down the stretch. They are going to play some teams that can stop their run game, and they won't be able to be the bully. And listen, the bottom line is, Mike, we're holding Baltimore on a Super Bowl level, right? That's the expectations we have for them. The bottom line is it has to get better if they want to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, the AFC Championship game, whatever it is. The run game and Greg Roman's tricks and all that just can't win every game. At some point, you're going to meet your kryptonite, and you're going to have something for that kryptonite, and that's the next thing we need to see from the Ravens. Legit
their Achilles.
Game. Yeah.
Achilles heel literally is the possibility of facing the Chiefs in the postseason.
Right.
That's it. That was what I had on my list. I had one more that I just have to mention. And I love Tom Brady. Greatest of all time. But this personality cult that's gradually developing around the Buccaneers, and he's the center of the universe, and he gets what he wants, and he knew it was fourth down, all that stuff, that could come back to haunt them at some point. There's too much power vested in one guy, and there's too many people running around making excuses for him and giving him everything he wants.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.